Hello, you two people out there. What's going on? I decided to come on and talk about some of my taxi cab experiences. And this one here will be titled The Drunk Ones. During the course of my driving a taxi, probably about 85% of everybody that I picked up was Hispanic. So, you know, speaking Spanish and, you know, having a good old time or whatever. A lot of Mexicans and a lot of the Hispanic guys, some of the girls, but a lot of the guys, they like to drink and party it down, you know. Their whole life is about drinking and working, and that's basically it, and eating. So anyways, this one time I went to a trailer park in Jonesboro, and I picked up this group of guys, like 4 of them, and 3 of them sat in the back and 1 sat in the front next to me. And the one that was next to me was a little bit more inebriated than the rest of them. He was drunker than a skunk. And he kept trying to touch me while I was driving, and I just said, "Look, don't put your hands on me." In Spanish, of course. And then he kisses me on my cheek. I swear, I stopped the car and I pulled him out of the car. I swung him around like 3 or 4 times and then just threw him into this yard. And the other 3 were begging me to let him back in the car, and I said, "No, if you all want to go to the place that you're asking me to take you, I will take you. But if you're gonna stay with him, then stay with him and I'll just leave. But you need to pay me for the ride." And I calculated out how much money it was up to that point, and they gave me the money and they left. They chose to not ride with me any longer, you know, and that was good. You know, I wasn't going to tolerate somebody playing with me while I was driving. I just wasn't going to do it. And so that was that particular story. Then this one time, I picked this guy up. Now there's a place in Atlanta where all these guys go, and it's like a bar, a club, or whatever. And they pay $5 to dance with a girl and talk to her and this and that over there. And they pay outrageous money just to get there. It's can't be any less than $25 just to drive over there. And depending on where they come from, it can cost a whole lot more. So this one particular group of guys that I took over there, it was 3 of them. I picked them up. They were already drunk, and the one guy was eating in the back, and I told him, "Hey, you can't eat in this car. You're not going to eat in this car." And he kept trying to sneak food into his mouth. He was eating some kind of Mexican chip, you know. It was like a hot type of chip or whatever. And I said, "You can't eat that in here. I already told you, and I'm not going to warn you again. You're going to have to pay me what it costs to go all the way over there, and I'll let you out right here." So finally, I took the bag of chips and threw them out the window, and they were upset about that. And I said, "Look, I told them not to eat. If you want those chips, I'll drive back there and let you all out right there, or we can go on our merry way." They was, "Okay, no, we want to go. So we ended up going all the way up there, and they paid me $75. And then just so happens I got the call to come and pick them back up and take them home. So I get up there to pick them up, and they got this girl with them, and they wanted to take her back home and then have me come and pick her up at their house and drive her all the way back, and they were going to pay me that money. So I went ahead and drove them, and they gave me the money to, you know, whenever I dropped them off at the house, they gave me the money to drive her all the way back to where she was going. And the original drive was like $75. So going back home to their house was $75, but it was $85 to go to where she was going home at. So, you know, you do the math on it, $150 plus $85, $235 right there, bang. And that's how taxi business was for me, you know, $235 just like that. And the girl was so quiet in the back when I went and picked her up. She didn't say a word. She went home with 4 different guys. I mean, I don't know. It was weird and strange to me too, but hey, people do what they want to do, you know. And yeah, as a taxi cab driver, you can't pass judgment on people. You can refuse to do what they want to do, but when it came to money, you know, what am I going to say? If I don't take them, somebody else is going to take them. So I said, okay. And I did. There was one time I carried a blind girl and her brother and mother and father to a restaurant. And she sat in the front seat next to me, and she talked to me, and she was just a beautiful person. But when I picked them back up from the restaurant, the brother was drunk, and he was belligerent towards me. He was saying all kinds of things, and I just didn't even want to deal with him. So I told him, if you want to go back to the restaurant and call a separate taxi, that's fine with me. Yeah, I wasn't that far from there, so I was willing to drive back to the restaurant and dropping his behind off and taking the rest of them home. But he mellowed out. The father said, hey, you need to shut up. I heard what he said in Spanish, you know. I was like, okay. And then I took them home. He didn't say a word. He's the one that paid me, and he gave me a tip. He gave me $50 tip. So I was like, thank you. And that was the end of that. But that's another thing that is good about taking drunk people. They seem to be careless with their money, and they'll just give you whatever they want to give you at that time. And they're probably looking for it the next day, but hey, they did what they did. Hey. So there was a time that I went and picked up at an apartment complex. I picked up 3 Mexican guys and took them over to this other apartment complex. And just so happens that they were looking for some drugs or something. And when we got there, somebody came running out of an apartment and ran up to the car and said, what are you doing over here? What do you want? Blah, 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 blah. And they started talking to the guy, you know, trying to speak English. So I spoke for him, and I told him what was going on. I told him I don't know nothing about it. I'm just a taxi cab driver, but I do understand what they're looking for. And he said, well, they've been over here before. I just don't like them coming over just any old time when they feel like it, you know. And he was all cautious and everything. He had a gun in his pants, you know. And I guess that was to intimidate them or whatever. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. And then nothing else happened. He went back inside the house. He came back out. He corresponded with the guy in the back seat. Now, as a taxi cab driver, I'll tell you this. I cannot get in trouble for any kind of illegal substance or anything in my car that I do not know about. So as long as I stay quiet and, you know, if the police stopped us or whatever, I could just say, well, I didn't know about it, and that's it. It's a done deal. They will get in trouble for that. But as a taxi cab driver, you are not responsible in the state of Georgia anyways. I don't know if it's different in other states, but here in Georgia, if you get stopped as a taxi cab driver and somebody has whatever they have on them, you can't get in trouble for that, because you cannot search them before they get in your car, and you're just not liable for whatever it is. Now, if you have an accident, that's a different story. You are responsible for that. But as far as any kind of illegal substances or guns or whatever have you, alcohol or whatever, you can't be in trouble for that. Not in the state of Georgia. And I already know that. I know all the bystand laws and everything else. So I understand that. So, any case, there was another time I went and picked this one guy up. He had me drive all over Kingdom Come looking for something. I don't know what he was looking for. He would never tell me, but I believe he was looking for drugs. It was a Mexican guy, and we went to a super bad part of town, let's just say that. And we were going from street to street, and I kept telling him, I said, look, these kind of places do not bother me. However, I'm not driving around here and you don't know where you're going. And you're going to have to pay me a whole lot of money for riding around in circles and circles and circles and circles and circles. I just want you to know that. He said, I don't have no problem. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you. So, okay. So we rode around for about 2 hours. And when we got to the place, he didn't even act like he was worried about it. I told him it's $250, and he reached right in his pocket and gave me $300. So he gave me a $50 tip when I dropped them off. He gave me $50, and I got $300, just like that. And a lot of times that's pretty much how it went with picking up drunks. And I have more drunk stories and more other cases that happened to me while I was driving a taxi, but I'll get back with you on the rest of that later on. I love you, love yourself, love God, and by all means love each other, people. Until the next time, love, peace, and